Hello everybody, this is Maniac for Bricks More. It's been quite a while since we've had our last first episode. I know how strange that sounds, but we're going to move on anyways. And this time around, we have another Halloween or creepy themed one. This is about the first, maybe two, I don't know which one actually came first, but among the first abandoned places I've ever known. These are actually pretty local to me, so no surprise that they would be the first that I've found, because they're something that I've passed oh so often and known for many years growing up in the town, and I still don't know a lot about them. They are still interesting to me. I've never really gone in either one of them, and just seeing that there's just knowing the area surrounding it still kind of intrigues me. So the first one I'd like to mention, the building itself is no longer there, but for a long time I've known about this small building. I believe it was some kind of dairy manufacturer, and strangely, right in the middle of suburbia. There was a traffic intersection, where it was just on the corner of it. It was kind of recessed into a hill with its own flat land around it, and had maybe one or two entrances on different sides. For a long time, I really had no idea what this building produced. I didn't even know if it was operating, and I've just known it existing in the middle of town. And then, many years ago, it got demolished. Now, nothing is there. It's just a big slab of concrete left over, some of it overgrown, and not entirely grown back into all trees or anything. It's just been like a vacant lot. And just, again, very recessed, so it is kind of noticeable. Even passing by it, you just notice, hey, that's kind of lower ground over there. And nothing's really grown much there. I mean, yeah, there's some concrete that kind of holds some of that, but it's not like anything more than weeds or grass has really been, planted there or developed from there. It hasn't really been used for anything as far as I can tell. And I consider this an abandoned building because I've never really known it to be operational. I've never known people that had to go there. I've never heard from anyone in town that's worked there. So I imagine that in all the time I grew up with it, before its demolition, it was not operational, nobody was using it, and it just got destroyed. This tends to happen with buildings every once in a while. If they've just been vacant for a long time, they will be destroyed and a lot will be used for something else. I know several of them that have had more demolition recently in other various towns surrounding where I grew up, but that might be stories for another day. Some of it I think I have documented, but again, well, let's talk about that some other time. The second one, as I said before, I don't know which one I've known first, or if I've just known them both equally as long, or just about as long, but at least the second one is still there. The building has not been demolished yet. I've passed it by many times, and I've never really seen anything more happen with it. This building is on a small, secluded road that kind of just cuts through some of the traffic. There are a couple of buildings nearby. There's a consumer product testing place. There's a few businesses that have their own offices or whatnot. I haven't been to a lot of these buildings, so I don't really know too much of the area, but it is kind of like in between suburbia and corporate offices on various businesses. This building itself, and also the road that it's nearby, is in a little bit of a thick forest away from a local airport. It's not a full-fledged airport like, say, one that a lot of flights would go through for, passengers or for, major transportation. The kind of airport this was used for, I think at one time was used either World War I or World War II, kind of a smaller airport for like commercial planes. So there'd be things that with like one or two pilots in a single plane that just fly through town. And they still do. This is still operational and has been updated since, the 1900s. So I think there used to be some kind of bomb-related thing there. I remember hearing some kind of story about that, or having like different security or something for it. They have a hangar built in there. But away from there is like a little bit of forest, this road, and in between the two is this mysterious building. From what I've known, from many times of going through there, I'd be in the passenger seat of the car growing up as a child, and just knowing, that road, like most other ones in town, like it's a main road or anything. I've always seen this building and I was fascinated by it. But this building didn't really give me a lot of information. From what I remember, nobody went to this building. It seemed like it was on the way of overgrowth. Like a lot of dense forest started growing around it, some onto the building itself. And this building had a few letters on it. It seems like it kind of worn off over time, had a whole bunch of graffiti, but there were a couple of letters that kind of spelled what the building might have been used for. My best estimation from what few letters were existing there was that it was a Fairfield chemical plant. I could be wrong about the plant part, but I'm pretty sure on the Fairfield and chemical, since it is in Fairfield, New Jersey, and it seemed like some of the letters, the way they lined up, seemed to spell the word chemical. Now, as of recording this video, and many years after these observations, not many of those letters are left, and it seems like they keep falling off over time. So I don't really know if it was just something from my memory that was wrong, or if that was the correct guess and it is deteriorating. But it was fascinating nonetheless. Like I said, I've never gone into this building, but I have passed by it, maybe parked nearby for a minute or so just to look at it, kind of try to see if what it might have been about. It had some kind of gate in front of it. It's still there. It is a locked gate from what I remember, and somehow people either climbed through, snuck through, whatever the case may be. I don't know. Maybe they took the woods around it. I don't know if the gate extends all the way around the perimeter, but somehow people got to this place. They've been able to do graffiti, not just on the first floor of it, but also on the second floor, because you could tell that there was some higher up graffiti, like plastered all over it. And this building has always made me curious because I've never found a record of this. I've looked it up several times online, tried to approximate the address of it. Like, it didn't have a number sign out there to say what number building this was on that road. I just kind of guessed based on the other active buildings that were around it, and I've never really found a conclusion. I've even tried looking for Fairfield Chemical Plant and, New Jersey, and maybe the name of the road without the number, and I've never found anything about it. I never found anything to lead me more about what this building was used for, if it's active, whatever the case may be. It gives me the idea that it's not active because of the graffiti, and if it was, they would have cleaned that and would have reinforced it, and probably would have trimmed some of the overgrowth, as I mentioned before. There's also a sign out front of it that has something to do with selling the property. Well, I don't know if it would, need demolition, but at least there's some kind of real estate sign on that gate. And I've never seen anybody go to it. I've never really seen anything happen with it, except just to fall apart more and more over time. It does intrigue me, and I really do hope that there is somebody out there that knows more information about this, whether or not, if they trespass, that's on their, that's whatever they do, and what risks go along with that. But if there's a way of learning more about this building, just as it's the only one in that whole row, in that whole street, then nothing's happened to it for years and years. And more recently, in the past month or so, almost 2 months now, there's been a lot of construction vehicles near there. So it kind of makes me wonder, are they doing something with the building? They've had a whole bunch of construction vehicles, occasionally moving during the daytime. And I've seen that the road on both sides is blocked off. Anyway, it would have taken you, like if you come in from either side of the road, it would take you to a detour that basically turns you around another way. And they all center around this building. That's what I find strange about it. Like, it's exclusively that part of the road. It's not any closer with the consumer product stuff. It's not further to the other side where they have a couple more offices and whatnot for other businesses. It's in that spot specifically. From what I've seen in the daytime, It's a various amount of construction equipment. I haven't really seen anything from what little glances I can get from that side of the road. I haven't seen anything that was demolished in the building, but I don't really know for sure. I have seen that they have a stack of girders that are right near that blockade on both sides, but I don't really know if that's for this building or something else. I can't really see any other buildings that have been constructed or deconstructed nearby. So it really makes me wonder, what are they doing there? Are they just parked there? Why would they interfere with traffic if it's just parked there when they have somebody else to put it? And why that spot specifically? Is that just because it's not a main road and just easy to, put stuff there? Well, but again, I ask, why that spot? Why right in front of this place that's not being used? So it's a very mysterious thing, and I wish I knew a way to find more information about it, at least, without any kind of trespassing, without taking any risks. I can't see myself going to the place and trying to investigate it, personally. Even if I had somebody with me to at least make sure it was secure or anything, I don't want to go through any blockades. I know those blockades say no pedestrians allowed during a certain period of time or a certain number of days, and I'm going to abide by that. I'm not going to make myself in trouble with something like that. But it is fascinating that there's been no record of it at any time, of this building being operational at some point. I don't know if when that traffic clears up, if I could see the retailer sign again or real estate sign or whatever, and then maybe find from there what this building was used for. I have seen that with other places long after knowing this building. I've seen that with other places. I think one near Freehold, New Jersey, where it has a big sign out in the front of it. You can approximate the location of it based on the buildings surrounding it. It's right off of a public road, and as far as I know, it doesn't have any no trespassing signs, but I'm not going to break into it. It's just more of like, I dove off, sat in the parking lot, saw the real estate sign, figured out the location, and it brought me onto the website where it showed that property up for sale. And it showed some interior pictures, it described a bit about what the building used to be, and, I didn't have to break anything open. Unfortunately, that building is also in deterioration. People have been breaking stuff with that or just falling apart over time. It has been graffitied. I have noticed that over time. A little bit more than I thought it would be. But I digress. There are several buildings like that throughout New Jersey that I come across in my travels. And like I said, I don't go into any of these buildings unsupervised or really at all, because it's not my property. I don't have permission to do so. I'm not going to get in trouble for that. So, abandoned buildings are a fascination for me. I do keep my distance, but I am still intrigued about their history or why those buildings have just been rotting there. I actually know some by my college that have recently been torn down. There's Wayne Hills Mall, which has a good portion of the mall proper that has been demolished over the past few months. There's still a whole bunch of buildings around it that are operational or at least available for, leased or whatever. Like there's a Toys R Us nearby, there's a Kmart that's about to close, things like that. But then there's also a plaza near there on the opposite side of the Hamburg Turnpike where everything got demolished recently. There used to be a Marshall's, a Huffman Floors, and a Cost Cutters. And that, again, I've only seen from the road and never really seen anybody go in there. I think the Marshalls was the last one to close, because I remember that one. I've went there at least once in a couple of years ago, but they closed shortly after. And now I see that they've completely wiped the place clean and are probably building something else there. It's a very interesting subject and rides the line of creepy. And I don't know if there's stories with it. I don't even know if this chemical place would have a story with it as well, where it's like a place you shouldn't go to because of an urban legend or something. I know Weird New Jersey. I've read articles from it for years. I've never seen this place come up in those. I probably would have known if it did, because I would have definitely seen that. Like, out of the blue, like know right exactly what it is. But yeah, they're very fascinating places. I hopefully there's some resource out there I can learn more about it. And let me know in the comments below if you have any places like that in your area that have just been abandoned for an undetermined amount of time or may have had some legends associated with it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with more videos. And happy Halloween. I got my candies all ready. We're all good here, so have a good one.